Well, well, well. You think you can just ride in here and kick my ass with no repercussions? Well, I got news for you. You're darn tootin' you can. Hey, it's your good friend, it's your pal, it's your compadre. It's TC, everybody. How you doing? What's going on the big show today? Of course, we are hanging out. We're talking rock, little metal, maybe some 80s pop in there as well, but mostly just we're talking rock. What do I want to call it? Everything rock. And then I do the little hyphenated, not hyphenated, but everything which starts with an E, and then rock starts with a R. So welcome to the ER, baby. Maybe I'll do that eventually. But we are here every Monday through Friday, most of the time, starting at 7 p.m. Eastern. 6 p.m. Eastern, 5 Central, and 3 Pacific. And what's going on in the big show today? Well, the biggest thing going on in my mind is, besides the news, is that we have an epic throwdown in our battle royale of albums that were released in history on September 17th. Today, Guns N' Roses versus OZZY versus Tool. I had forgotten that the Tool record, I mentioned this on Monday, that this was coming up. I'd forgotten the Tool record came out today, so I made it a threesome, and who doesn't love a threesome, right? So there you go. Also, we're going to relive the past. I'm actually going to check in on yesterday's Battle Royal, which wasn't too much of anything, to be honest with you. It is what it is, but since I missed the show yesterday, we'll check in on yesterday's because I did get part of the show ready, but then stuff happened. And then we'll also talk about some new vinyl releases coming out from Aerosmith. Let's see, Def Leppard, also All-American Rejects, and then can't forget the best hair metal songs of the 90s. So we're going to do that coming up on the big show today. Well, I'm going to start it off. I'm changing the format a little bit. I'm going to start it off with our battle today. This is the epic battle of all time. So let's say you get 365 albums to listen to, but you only can listen to one each day, the day it came out. So you'd have 365 records in your collection, and on September 17th, you're relegated to just listening to this record you're going to choose today, potentially going to choose today. Another record that came out today, Beast from the East by Judas Priest. Good record, live record, but not going to make not going to be able to go up against Guns N' Roses, OZZY, or Tool. So this is the battle for today, the battle of September 17th. 3 legendary albums released on the same date facing off. Who you got? Which record would you pick to add your collection and only listen to on, that's right, or maybe you already have it in your collection, on September 17th. So first up, get in the ring, baby, as Axl would say on Use Your Illusion 1. I think that song is on. Guns N' Roses, Use Your Illusion 1 and 2. I know this is a little bit of a stretch because you're getting 2 albums, but hey, congrats to Guns N' Roses on releasing a double album. That is fantastic. Came out September 17th, produced by Mike Klink, sold over 21 copies combined. Use Your Illusion 1 actually sold more, about twice as many as number 2, but number 2 is actually really good too, I gotta say. So notable singles, of course, from the albums: November Rain, Don't Cry, You Could Be Mine, The Live and Let Die. I don't know, I could do without those. I'm going Coma, I'm going Double Talk and Jive, I'm going some other Locomotive. I'm going a little deep cuts on the Guns N' Roses there. So that's the first participant into the squared circle, so to speak. Is there such a thing as the squared circle? I don't know, whatever. In the middle, Ozzy Osbourne, No More Tears, released actually on the same day in history, September 17th, 1991, produced by a couple of guys. We'll just go with that. Sold over 4 million copies. This is a great record, man. This is such a great record. Obviously, it's following up on, what was it? Not The Ultimate Sin. What was the album from 88? The first one with Zakk Wylde. It was the one with Crazy Babies on it. No Rest for the Wicked. So follow up for No Rest for the Wicked. I think this is Ozzy's 6th solo record. No More Tears leads the way. Mama, I'm Coming Home. Heartbreaking. Yeah, it's such an amazing song. Road to Nowhere is on here. Mr. Tinker Train, Time After Time is on here. And I'm not talking Cyndi Lauper. I'm talking Ozzy version. So That is fantastic. So actually, I've been listening to all three of these records this morning and into the afternoon. And I got to say, that Ozzy record is really damn good. I'm like, and Lenny Kilmister from Motorhead wrote a couple of songs with Ozzy, including Mama, I'm Coming Home. And I'm just like, I want to pick Guns N' Roses, but the Ozzy record is so good. I don't know what to do. So anyways, last but not least, September 17th, 1996, Tool releases Anima, if I'm saying that correct. I don't know how to say it. It is what it is. Stinkfist is on there. Title track H, 46 and 2. I mean, Stinkfist and 46 and 2, obviously big songs at rock radio. I love them. What can I say? Once again, this record is fantastic. 77 minutes of love. And what's interesting, so this record is incredibly hard to find. Our friend James has a copy, an OG copy of this. But apparently, when this record was released on September 17th, it only came out on vinyl back in, what was that be? Well, in 1996. They released it on vinyl and they waited 2 weeks before they released it on CD. And this was the age of CDs, especially in the late 90s. So it's like, that is so interesting. But what makes it even more interesting to me is that you cannot find this record for less than, if you want a nice copy on vinyl of this record that isn't one of these fake copies from out of Europe. They do like these unofficial pressings, which is basically just someone in Europe burning the CD and then doing an album version, a vinyl version of it. It sounds like crap. It is what it is, but I know some people want it because, I mean, paying $600, $700. What am I saying? This is $1,000 record if you have an OG copy, a US press of Anima from Tool from back on September 17th or around that time. So anyways, as I was saying, they've never reissued this record. So there's all these fakes floating around over the last, especially 10 years. And it's just frustrating that, you know, there's some record stores that'll sell that, and you'll get record stores will, you know, you go into a record store and you're like, oh my God, I found a copy of this. And it turns out it's a fake copy. So watch out if you find a copy of that in your local record store, because 9 out of 10 times it's going to be fake, especially if someone's charging like $60 for it. Anything, you know, under $60 is just like, because it should be on the wall at the record store if you find one. And it should be probably $800 to $1,500, depending on the condition of it. So hopefully Maynard and Company, Adam, Danny, and Justin, get their rear in gear. I'm looking at you, Maynard, and you have a record store up in Jerome, Arizona. What the hell are you doing? Okay, next year will be the 30th anniversary of the record, so maybe we'll get a reissue then. I've heard all those Tool records have been remastered. 10,000 Days was never pressed on vinyl. That needs a pressing, so there you go. So I've broken it down. I've talked the talk. This is tough, man, because I've really started to get into Tool in the last year. I think they're a really great band. A Perfect Circle is really good too. The sentimental favorite, of course, is Ozzy, right? It's got to be Ozzy because he's Ozzy. And he just passed away here, 6 weeks ago. The Guns N' Roses records are really good. The double album, man. Izzy Stradlin's still in the band. I do love that fact. He's still writing. Axl, the predominant songwriter, but then the next most predominant songwriter in that band was not Slash or Duff. It was Izzy Stradlin. And it's got Izzy all over it. That sounded wrong. Anyways, you get the idea. So in the end, before I go to check the chat, I'm going with my original thought. I'm going Guns N' Roses, Use Your Illusion 1 and 2. I mean, some of the stuff, yeah. Damn it. Never mind. I'm changing it. I'm going Ozzy, sentimental. But that album is so damn good. It's so damn good because there is some filler content, a little bit of filler content on the Use Your Illusions records. But I'm going Ozzy, Axl, Slash, Duff, Izzy, wherever you are. Matt Sorum, wherever you are. Well, I know where Matt Sorum is, but anyways, I apologize. And of course, the guys in Tool, if you get that reissued, baby, give me a reissue on vinyl and everything in the world will be right. I guarantee it. All right, cool. Let's see who's hanging out with us. Beat After Beat. Love Beat After Beat. Hello, Beat After Beat. Love it, love it, love it. Beat After Beat going guns all the way. Yeah, you know it. Guns in the Sky. Guns in the Sky. That's actually an NXS song. I do love that, and it is fantastic. I should go. I posted something on Facebook and see if there was any comments on Facebook that I might have missed here. Let's see. Let's go here. There you go. So we got some comments here. Jeff Lloyd, one of our good friends, local favorites, says it's Tool, baby, all the way, and no close second. All right, that's cool. Adam, tough one, but he's going Tool. Adam, one of our online favorites when we did the live show. Very nice. John Franz going OZZY, no question. Got it. I went OZZY too. OZZY again by James. James sometimes hangs out with us for the live show. Dylan is saying no more tears, but he considered Guns N' Roses, but he goes No More Tears. Erica Young goes GNR, one of our local favorites as well, like Dylan and James. Randy, one of our local favorites, going OZZY as well. And then Richard, an easy one, OZZY. So it seems like OZZY is the big winner today, with Guns coming in second. And then I guess last but not least, no disrespect to anybody else there, but Tool, which is a fabulous band. So there you go. I am here to check the chat finally. I did check the chat. So Live and Let Die. I didn't really like Live and Let Die. I don't like Beatles covers. And for some reason, I think the Beatles, I'm not the biggest fan of the Beatles, but I think the Beatles did all their songs right. So when people covers Beatles songs, I just don't think they're that good. I didn't think the cover of Live and Let Die was that great, in my humble opinion. So, but anyways, knocking on Heaven's Door. I don't need to hear that song ever again either, whether it's the original or the cover. It just was never one of those songs that I just never really got into. So there you go. Of course, you can watch the show on YouTube or Facebook anytime you want. I should expand it to other platforms like X or Rumble or Kick or Twitch or Monkey Bites or Poopsmail. I don't want to go to poopsmell.com. There's no way I'm going to poopsmell.com. So there you go. So I can't imagine what's there. Anyways, all right. One of the things I always love doing in the show is reliving the past. This is like the worst handbill in the history of the world, and it is from the Spectrum. I guess that's probably the Spectrum in Philadelphia. Boom. Home of the Flyers, the Broad Street Bullies, beating up on the Detroit Red Wings. You a hockey fan there, Beat After Beat? I got to ask, because I used to be a hockey fan when the North Stars were in town, baby. I was all about the North Stars. And we had great rivalries with Stevie Yzerman and the Detroit Red Wings. The Blackhawks were obviously a great rival, too. The St. Louis Blues with Brett Hull back in the day. Anyways, but the Philadelphia, I think the North Stars made it to the finals one year. I think they played the Islanders, if memory serves, and Mike Bossy. Anyway, so there you go. So I got to close the chat out here so I can actually see what this says. So if you had a chance to go back into the past, Beat After Beat, or anybody else that's hanging out with us, or if you want to leave a comment on the Facebook or on the YouTube, I'm going to tell you who was on the bill at the Spectrum in Philadelphia back in, I think this is 1992, if I remember right. Yes, 1992, because it starts off with the Doobie Brothers and the Fabulous Thunderbirds. Ain't That Tough Enough, baby. Okay, very nice. Debbie Gibson, Shake Your Love Girl. Ooh, Debbie, how you doing? With apparently special guest Judson Spence. We haven't heard the last of him or her, as it turns out. Also, there is some sort of Yes hybrid on the bill here. Looks like John Anderson, Bruford, Alan Wakeman, and Steve Howe. So I'm not sure what's going on there. And then, of course, this is the show I would go attend. Even though Debbie Gibson, loved Debbie Gibson back in the 80s. But by the time the 90s came around, I was on to my different favorite ladies in music, like the Bangles. There you go. Very nice. But the Doobie Brothers, good band, but I'd never go see them. This is the show I would go see. Tesla in 92, the Psychotic Supper Tour. Ooh, first 3 Tesla records were in fact awesome. Bust a Nut has never been put on vinyl. It should be put on vinyl, in my humble opinion. Great White, who was coming off of that great years in the what was it in the 80s, and those guys are amazing. Those records sounded amazing. And then get this, opening special guest Badlands, Jake E. Lee, Ray Gillen. Ooh, now that is sexy. I definitely go to see that show. Which show would you go see? Beat After Beat. I'm guessing you'd probably go see Debbie Gibson. Come on now. Say it. Let's see. Red Wings and Jets Pizza, baby. Indeed. Talking about the Red Wings. I love the artwork on the guns. And yeah, that's true. The artwork on the guns record is pretty cool. Going back to that. So Beat After Beat, let me know if you'd go see any of those shows. If I had the opportunity to go see any other show, I'd probably go see Debbie Gibson, honestly. But, well, whatever, you know. At that point, I'm like 22, and I'm just like, yeah, come on, Debbie. Thinking I might have a shot. No. Beat After Beat agrees indubitably. Tesla, Great White, and Badlands. So choice if we were to go back in time. All right, let's get to the live stuff here. Oops, let me do this. Oh, nope, that's not what I want to do. Let me go here, and let me go here. Why am I not going here? It's not going there. Hang on a second. Window, and I want to go John Bon Jovi, share, and then I want to come back to this and do this. Oh! All right, here you go. Story, some news today. I want to talk about this. This is from the Music Universe, one of my favorite music sites out there. Congratulations to Buddy, who runs that site. John Bon Jovi says he's recovered from vocal surgery. Very nice. All right, let's get the band back together. Let's get Hugh McDonald, boom, on bass, because obviously Alex John Such is unfortunately no longer with us. The Tico the Hitman on drums, David Bryan on keys, Richie Sambora on guitar, and John Bon Jovi, and no one else. I don't want anybody else on that tour unless you have backup singers like David Lee Roth has, because if Richie and David Bryan can't handle all of the singing as far as backup goes for John, well, then there you go. Let's make it happen, baby. John Bon Jovi says he's recovered from vocal surgery. That is awesome. Love Bon Jovi. I don't like that John Bon Jovi disrespects his earlier albums for the most part. I wish he did. And obviously he's moved on to a different phase in his life, and he's doing music that I wouldn't listen to at this point. But still, it is what it is. I get it. You grow as an artist. But it's that good stuff, man. It's those first 5 albums, John. That's what everybody wants to hear. That's where the money is, in my humble opinion. And you can mix in It's My Life as well. So there you go. According to John, he says, I had really difficult surgery some 3 years ago, so I've been on the edge of reserve. There you go. I have recovered, thank the Lord. My faith, listening to Mike McConaughey talk. McConaughey, who's that? Is that Matthew McConaughey? Oh, it is Matthew McConaughey. I'll be damned. Was not tested. It really wasn't tested. I don't even know what he's saying there. Anyways, the good news is John is back. A little later, I'm going to tell you about Aerosmith announcing something today. So perhaps, I mean, the bands from the 80s that still can go out there, I want to get them out there, man. So there you go. That's what's going on there. Sammy Hagar, this is from our friends at Blabbermouth that likes to put those ads on the page. Oh, it disappeared. Oh, and now a new one appeared. So anyways, but Sammy Hagar says he was very disappointed with his Flying High Again performance at Back to the Beginning. He says, I choked. You know, it's funny because I actually said this to Jen the other day. I said, you know, when it came to all the performances at the OZZY Black Sabbath Back to the Beginning tribute, I think the worst one might have been Sammy Hagar. All due respect to Sammy, because I love Sammy, but it's nice to see that he realized that it wasn't so good. It wasn't so good at all. So There you go. Of course, he announced that residency for next year. I think that's in the first part of the year and the second part of the year in Vegas. So we got that going for us, which is nice. Jen did get Duran tickets, by the way. They went on sale as a pre-sale through the fan club today. So beat after beat. Are you jealous? Potentially Jen and I, going to see. Well, Jen's definitely going. I'll make a game time decision. I think it's on January 5th. Duran. Well, Merry Christmas, Jenny. Merry Christmas. So yeah, we're going to see Duran on January 5th here in Phoenix, and Jen got tickets, some pretty damn good tickets. I did not ask the price. And I was thinking about that the other day. Why are ticket prices so expensive? I think it's because record companies screwed over the artists in the 80s, maybe in the 70s as well, the 80s into the 90s. They screwed them over so much because all in all, most artists that say they basically got 14 cents on the dollar for every record. Everything else went for promotion, to line the coffers of the record company, the executives, hiring secretaries. It just becomes this cancer of a network, like a spider network of employees that are just useless in these big operations, these big corporations. And that's, obviously you got the bloat on the top with the executives, and I get it, but still you get like all of these other categories filling in of like, oh, how big's the promotions department? It's 3,000 people. What? You could do it with 300, I'm sure. Anyways, it's just one of those things. But I'm thinking the other day is the reason why the artists are probably pissed off that they got basically robbed on all their records and stuff over the years, and they didn't maybe make as much as they thought they were going to make. I think that's true in so many cases. I mean, there was a chance that if you're a band like Cinderella and you sell 1 million copies of Long Cold Winter, the net from the record company is, after the record company takes its 86% for promotion, for everything else, for the product, for distribution, for actually producing the vinyl or the cassette or the CD, they're left with about $140,000. Now the producer might get 3 points of that, so now they're down to 110. A mixing engineer is going to get paid for it as well. So now they're down to 10 grand. And then all of a sudden you've got a manager maybe getting a point too as well. So now you're down to $90,000 on a million selling record, and it's got to be split 4 ways. And you realize you've just made a record that sold 1 million copies, and you were paid, if you're in Cinderella and they're splitting it 4 ways, what? That is about $22,500 for the year. That's not so good, is it? So, but now they're like, a lot of these bands going out, well, I'm going to charge $400 of tickets. I'm going to get, because the record company screwed me over back in the day, well, I'm going to get mine now. And all that's doing is screwing over the fans. So we as fans, we got screwed over twice in this scenario here. We got charged too much for these records. Remember when they were charging like $18.99 for CDs in the 90s? You can still get CDs for $18.99. It was a cash cow for these guys. And God forbid how many times I've bought Hysteria from Def Leppard or Van Halen 1984. I've probably bought that record 10 times. Anyways, I digress. Let's move on. Let's keep going. I'm sorry. Oh, there's a trailer out for the OZZY documentary. It's called No Escape From Now. So if you get a chance, you should head on over to YouTube or wherever you want to see your trailers and check it out. That's all I got to say there. And then finally, there's rumors of Miley Cyrus playing the Super Bowl. I don't know if that's going to happen. We'll see. Right now, the odds-on favorite, it hasn't been announced. The odds-on favorite is actually Adele now. Now, keep in mind, Jay-Z's Rock Nation runs that for like the last 8 years. That's why we've gotten friends of Jay-Z playing the Super Bowl every year. And they're running it again this year, from my understanding. So why would we not get anybody that wasn't a Jay-Z friend, or maybe Jay-Z himself? So there you go. Miley is moving up a little bit, but yeah, Adele leads the way as far as on Polymarket on what people wager potentially on who's going to play the Super Bowl. Taylor Swift is second. Post Malone's in there. Morgan Wallen. I could see maybe Post Malone and Morgan Wallen doing the Super Bowl together, but I don't know if Rock Nation would say, yeah, I'll give that our blessing. Miley Cyrus, she might be a part of Rock Nation. I need to look that up for tomorrow's show. Metallica down there at 9%. That's not going to happen, I don't think. And Taylor Swift, I'm guessing if it's going to happen, it's going to be announced when she releases her new album on, I think, October 3rd, I think it is. So there you go. So long shot, and it is what it is, and that's the way it goes. All right, let me check the chat again, see if I'm missing anything, and I apologize. I'm rambling like a fool today. I've got so much to talk about and so little to say. So there you go. Oh, Psycho City. Yeah, I see that. I think Psycho City, Beat After Beat, is actually coming up on an anniversary. Psycho City, there it is. Is that, I think it has an anniversary coming up at the end of this month. Oh, it just went past September 14th. So that would have been Sunday. Psycho City turned 33 years old from Great White. So yeah, there you go. Very nice. Nice memory, Beat After Beat. Appreciate that. So that's cool. There you go. Very nice. All right, let's keep going. This was the battle from yesterday. I wanted to mention it. What the hell, right? This was from yesterday. I didn't get a chance to do the show yesterday because I couldn't get home in time to do the show, and then things kind of went sideways from there. It is what it is. Hi. I'm just going to say it really quick. I don't know what to pick here. I mean, Kiss Asylum, Tears Are Falling. This is when Paul Stanley's wearing the infamous chicken gloves all night. Are you kidding me? Who Wants to Be Lonely? No, I'm afraid not. I just can't. There's much better Kiss albums than Asylum. Talking Heads, Psycho Killer's on there. Okay, we'll give it to Psycho Killer. Boom, that's it. Beat After Beat. Anybody else? What do you think from yesterday? Since I missed the show, which album would you choose? Talking Heads or Kiss? I would choose Talking Heads 77 because I don't think I could listen to a whole Kiss album for once a year for throughout the day. I think it would drive me nuts because there's a lot of filler on those Kiss records. I mean, there's some great songs over the years on those 80s Kiss records, but then there's a lot of filler. And it's just like, oh God, this is horrible. So anyways, there you go. Beat After Beat going Kiss Asylum. So all due respect, I get it. I understand it is Kiss, and they are a great band. Aerosmith announced a new song, which is called My Only Angel. I'm guessing it's going to come out on Friday, maybe, as a single. And they're actually doing, it's like an EP, and there's actually going to be 5 variations of the EP. I think it's going to cost like $30 for an EP. They must be signed to Universal. Speaking of gouging, by the way. So there's 5 different variants coming out on vinyl. There's 3 different CD variants coming out. This is a record with Youngblood. It's also got a song called Problems on it, Wild Woman, and 1,000 Days, plus Back in the Saddle Remix 2025. Obviously, Youngblood is featured on all of this, it seems, or at least maybe just on My Only Angel. So this is great news. It's an EP. It's not a full-length album from Aerosmith, and we'll see what it is. I'm unfamiliar with a lot of these songs. I'm guessing they're all new, but I'll do some digging on that, and we'll find out. So, but Aerosmith, love to see the return of Aerosmith. Actually, in the upper left-hand corner, it looks like more like the logo from Hail to the King from Avenged Sevenfold than it does Aerosmith, in my humble opinion. But I think Avenged Sevenfold going to sue somebody, Steven Tyler. So there you go. All American Rejects are reissuing Move Along. That's a very cool record. I know Jen is a big fan of All American Rejects, coming out on kind of a, was that a ruby vinyl? Dark red? I don't know. I'm not good with colors. It's red. It's a reddish pink. Maybe it's a reddish purple. I don't know. Something like that. Very cool. Thompson Twins. You a fan of the Thompson Twins, Beat After Beat? They're kind of a cool band, right? Got some good songs. Lay Your Hands on Me, Hold Me Now. This is actually a 2 LP set of their greatest hits coming out on green and, is that orange vinyl? I don't know if it's orange or yellow. I'm kind of colorblind. So I'm going orange and green, so not too shabby. And this came to me in my email just a few moments ago before the show started. And this is a Universal Music title release. So instead of it being, it's a 2 LP, it's Def Leppard, Diamond Star, I can't even say this, Diamond Star Heroes. So a little double Bowie entendre. Is that a new word I've just invented? I think it is a new word I've just invented. Entendre. Diamond Star Halo, Bowie, And then Heroes, Bowie. So Diamond Star Heroes, live from Sheffield, Def Leppard. It is half speed master, so I guess that's cool. And it's on color vinyl. What do you think? $39 for a 2 LP? That's kind of the going rate these days. No, $56 for this record. You got to be shitting me. Come on. That's ridiculous. Come on, Joe. Joey Jojo Jr. Elliott. Come on, man. That is just ridiculous. Anyways, it is what it is. So there you go. Beat After Beat says this is hot pink. Is that hot pink? I guess it could be hot pink. Yeah, well, it's very nice. I won't say when I think of hot pink, I think of, never mind. And then the Thompson Twins. Yeah, love the Thompson Twins. So there you go. And then an overpriced Def Leppard live record. So, but it is half speed master. So I guess that's something. So it should sound good. And you're getting some of the songs from Diamond Star Halos. So there you go. All right. A couple other things. I got my 90s hair metal albums. I don't know if I've mentioned this before. I feel like it's a deja vu. I know I had this when I was doing test shows. And so I'm trying to pull out some of that stuff that I did. But I don't know if I've done this in the live show. I could have swore I did. So now I've deleted it. So this will be the last time it ever runs. So you'll have to let me know. I would rather have a pizza too. Beat After Beat. That's cool. So these are my top 10 hair metal albums from the 90s. Motley Crue, #1. That John Corabi record is fantastic. Winger, Pull, Psychotic Supper is great. Actually, that should probably be #2. Maybe that should be #1. Screw It, Danger, Danger. That's got an anniversary coming up here shortly. Hold Your Fire, Firehouse. You got Warrant. Who else am I forgetting? Mr. Big, Cinderella. And then a couple of other ones, Slaughter, Britney Spears, Britney Fox, and Extreme. So there you go. Keep it short, keep it to the point, I figure. So not too shabby. All right. Of course, if you're digging the show, all I'd ask is if you slam that like button and tell a friend about the show if you'd like. That would really help us. And there you go. Not too shabby indeed. All right. Name that tune. I don't know. Beat After Beat. If you're a fan of this show, this is the final scene of a show that ended in 2007, I believe it was 2007. Jen and I were watching it. The screen went blank for like 10, 15 seconds. And we're like, did the cable go out? What happened to HBO? So can you name the show in this particular case instead of the movie? And then can you name the song that was playing when this scene took place? So there you go. Let me describe the scene. It looks like an Italian man, maybe in a diner, and he's looking up at something, and he is wearing a very Italian style shirt. It's almost Neapolitan, I guess you could say, like a good Neapolitan ice cream, right? So there you go. And that's that. So not too shabby indeed. Beat After Beat. You speak my language. He knows it's the Sopranos. Now, do you know the song? That's the, of course, that song was huge initially, and then it had just like this gigantic rekindling, and now it's almost been burned out a little bit over the last 15 years. So there you go. Well, that's all you know. Okay, so the song is, what's the song? It is Journey, and it is what the hell is the name of that song? Now I can't think of the name of the song. Up and Down the Boulevard. What the hell? Oh my God. I'm on the spot. That's why I'm not knowing it. Okay, Journey songs. It's going to be the first one that comes up here. Don't Stop Believing. Wow. Am I dumb? Anyway, so there you go. All right, a couple of concert announcements today. Not really. Actually, Sleep Token started their tour here last night in Georgia. Kind of a cool band. I really dig that song Emergence. It just rocks, man. It is so rocking, but it's a different type of music than I'd say I'm used to via the 80s or 90s rock, but still, I dig it. They are in Florida. Is that in Florida tonight? I think that's in Florida, yes. They're in Florida tonight. The tour is sold out, so if you get a chance, well, you can probably pay scalper fees or secondary market fees, as they call it now. So there you go. And then coming up this weekend, Slaughter. Slaughter's always good at promoting their stuff, and I see it all the time. They're appearing with Great White at the Casino Resort Spa somewhere. Oh, Biloxi, Mississippi. There you go. You ever seen the movie? What was the movie? Biloxi Blues with Cameron from Ferris Bueller and Ferris Bueller from Ferris Bueller. Matthew, whatever his name is, and the other guy's name, whatever his name is. Anyways, Cameron and Ferris Bueller were in the movie together. It's a good movie, Biloxi Blues. Christopher Walken's in it as well. He's great in it. So I think it was a Neil Simon play on Broadway, and they made a movie of it. So good movie if you ever get a chance to check it out. So there you go. All right. So what did we learn today? We learned, let me scroll back up here. We learned that the most popular record, I guess, out of records that were released on September 17th in the history of the world is Ozzy Osbourne's No More Tears, at least according to the Facebook comments. And then beat after beats going Guns N' Roses, and a bunch of other people did as well. And then a couple votes for Tool, Anima. So not too shabby. That's what we learned there. We learned that John Bon Jovi is back, potentially. We learned that Aerosmith is back, potentially. Hopefully that comes to fruition there. And then last but not least, we learned that Def Leppard is overcharging for their new record, a live record at $56. I have a hard time saying that because I love those guys. Those guys are the best, but sometimes you got to call it out, man. You got to call them like you see them. So not too shabby. All right, I'm going to wrap it up. Beat after beat. Thanks for hanging out with us in the live show today. It is always awesome. And that's about it, I think. I think I got nothing else today. Not too shabby. There you go. Cool. Jen and Sandy are going to see The Sound of Music tonight. So, because the heroes are alive with the sound of music. So not too shabby. I'll be working on another project that I'm working on right now related to the NFL. Very nice. I love it. I will debut that project on September 27th, which is a Saturday. Odd day to debut a project, but hey, it is what it is. That's my school. That's the way I roll. And there you go. I appreciate you hanging